Greetings, brothers and sisters. So, mostly headlines today. I think there's one celebrity thing. I covered celebrity stuff on my other channel, but there's stuff about nuclear war and Jojo Magoo's plummeting popularity. Let's just start here, though. Investment in state-of-the-art facility for Aspire to support sustainable food production. And so this is the Canadian agriculture sector continues to develop innovative ways to meet the demand for more sustainably grown food. And so I was like, why do I have this up on my toolbar? Like somebody sent it to me and I forgot what it was about. And then I remembered it was here. It says an investment of $8.5 million for Aspire to support the building of commercial facility to produce cricket protein. And then down here there was where does it say here? Nutritionally, crickets are rich in protein and contain vitamins A, B, C, D, E, and K. All parts of the cricket are edible. Now, in the reality, they could take whatever they're calling meat, pink slime, out of fast food and stick cricket protein in your Big Macs, and people probably wouldn't even notice, right? So it isn't like insect protein. I mean, people don't like the idea of eating insects, but in terms of processing them and turning them into something that resembles meat, that is, whatever. Like, that's not the worst thing that they're trying to do. But I will say, they used to float these ideas out there. Remember, I showed you that ad with Nicole Kidman eating bugs, right? And then, of course, this thing with Angelina Jolie. So here she is.
Crow livestock. Cornworms. They're still alive.
Kablowie. She's deviating from her regular mice and rats that she eats alive.
Extraordinary. Very moist, chewy. Can't quite describe the flavor, but need a little water. Let's start.
That was that great laugh she does. And so, yeah, they've pushed this before, right? They've pushed it with Nicole Kidman. They've pushed it with Angelina Jolie and other celebrities. But it was just something they were floating out there. There's times that they're floating out ideas. They're seeing how the public react. They're just planting the seeds. But now's the time, like they're getting rid of beef and there's going to be food shortages. Now's the time they're really going to push this, right? And it'll just be, they'll call it some other name. They'll come up with some name that you won't know it's bug protein. And they'll just stick it in processed foods, in your McNuggets, in your Big Macs, in your, whatever Walmart-based processed foods that are out there that have meat in it. And it'll just be cricket protein instead of, whatever their pink slime stuff they're using now. It's not really probably all that much of a, you'll be able to get organic crickets. Organically grown crickets. But, this is something that's coming to a store near you. Joe Biden's approval rating craters to 30% after brutal week. See, Jojo Magoo isn't a very likable or even someone who inspires confidence. You saw Megan Rapinoe. She was getting a medal from him, and she gave a face because he was, diddling too long in the back with his having trouble putting the medals on. Remember? Showed you that the other day. But a lot of these celebrities and people who are Democrats don't really love Joe Biden. They just hated Trump. And, as long as he was delivering for them, they would be on his side. But now he's not delivering. And he can't deliver. The economy's cratering. And it's all these things that are happening that are, it's going to be no matter what they've done with the Roe v. Wade stuff and some of these other issues they've tried to create going into the midterms, he's going to get hammered, and there's no way they can fake it or do anything about it. And then they're going to have to come up with a substitute. And who's it going to be? Unless there's some superstar Democrat out there, then otherwise, they're stuck with Kamala. Or, I don't think even Hillary could run. And even if she did, she's toxic. So, the Democrats are like, they had their big window here. And now it's going to, and again, not that I'm a Republican or care about it, but, it is, it's short-lived. Amber Heard requests a new trial claiming wrong juror sat on jury. The actor's legal team alleged that an individual with the same name as the person summoned to the court duty appeared at her April trial with Johnny Depp. You're going to make everyone sit through that again, and you're not going to be any more likable this time. I mean, it's just like you're not going to recover in terms of your brand damage or she has her fans and stuff, but all of that sad face. Look at that sad face. Look at Amber's sad face. Why are you sad, Amber? Amber, is Camille Vasquez making you feel sad, Amber? Why is that happening, Amber? What's happening? It's the Johnny Depp's mean lawyer being mean to you again. What's happening? I don't know why she wants to sit through that again, because she just, look at her. They got her good there. But anyways, it's a non-story. Nuclear war could create dire worldwide hellscape, scientists say. You think? The threat of nuclear war goes well beyond the war front, even away from the terror seen by citizens and soldiers on the front lines. Russia's ongoing advancement into Ukraine has unsettled global economies as well as a sense of freedom and security. I don't know why that thing's popping up here. Various computer simulations of nuclear firestorm saw a future with scarce sunlight, food, and resources globally. As soot and smoke from the blast filled the upper atmosphere, temperatures would plunge 13 degrees Fahrenheit in the first month, bigger than the drop that occurred during the last ice age. With clouds blocking the sun, crops would fail, while algae, the basis of marine food chain, would disappear, thus halting major fisheries. Meanwhile, expanding ice coverage due to the cold shock, growing by more than 6 million miles and 6 feet deep, would block the major ports from receiving shipments of food and other goods across the sea, from Shanghai to Copenhagen. Doesn't matter who's bombing who. It can be India and Pakistan or NATO and Russia. Once smoke is released into the upper atmosphere, it spreads globally and affects everyone. And so, I think everyone kind of has a sense that nuclear war will only end this way. I want to read a few comments, but I just wanted to say what they said here about the temperature rising 13 degrees or the temperature dropping by 13 degrees, and then that's bigger than any ice age. The next big change is probably an ice age, right? We have them every 12,000 years. We haven't had one for a while. And, this is like how hot it gets. Like it's going to peak at some point. And whatever man-made global warming there actually is, I'm not saying there is or there isn't, but we are polluting the world and it might be having an effect. But something like, a nuclear war would drop the temperature significantly, and then it just keeps on dropping. Then there's factors involved with all that. And then there's not enough available land for all these people to live. I mean, think about what if it was frozen all the way down to like Washington, D.C. Like that was all a tundra. Frozen all the time, glaciers. You could walk across ice, the ice from, countries. Like you could walk from Alaska to Russia because it's frozen solid. I mean, things like that, right? And people who are living up there now, I mean, certainly, when you have the kind of technology we have, it's much different living in the, living in some frozen tundra than it would be if it was reduced to primitive levels, whatever it might be. But think about the irony, all the global warming talk, and it would be like an ice age, and it would happen almost immediately from the smoke and the fallout from whatever was going on, immediately dropping the temperature, and you would see the effects. Plus, like for example, when cows eat radioactive particles, when there's a nuclear explosion, I mean, it's worse with power plants than it is with bombs, but there is this radioactive fallout, and these particles get into the grass and get into the foliage and all this stuff. And then animals eat it, and it goes right to their udders. It goes right into the milk. So milk would be gone, milk, cheese, all these things, that would be all radioactive. I mean, cows wouldn't be able to survive. Animals that ate grass, they would all be cancerous and radioactive. I mean, there's just all these ways that things would disappear, and, things that we take for granted And, it's coming to a country near you. Like it just, I mean, it just feels like that's what's going to happen. Like before, it was like, all right, we're trending in the wrong direction. It looks like this is going to happen. I mean, as, the years passed, and the more we go whatever direction we're going, the more apocalyptic it looks like, the more apocalyptic it becomes. And I cover stuff here on a daily basis. And with the economy being what it is and people being what they are, like it doesn't look like there's going to be any turnaround. There's no plan to turn this ship around. There's nothing legitimate. And so, this is where we're heading. I just want to get to a couple of comments here. Let me see. This person says about the Georgia Guidestones, you're wrong. These symbols are blatant and must be destroyed. Why are you even on my channel? But why does the Georgia Guidestones have to be destroyed? Is that going to stop what? What is the positive outcome of that? Okay, to people in the truth community who have a significant attachment to the Guidestones, the only ones who care about them, it was a victory for many of them. But many people have been saying what I'm saying because I see a lot of memes and people leaving comments saying what I'm saying. It looks like either an inside job. It doesn't make any sense, right? And so, in what way, what does that change? What were those Guidestones function? They were built out of granite. They had some words on them in an obscure place in Georgia. What was, was it like a gate to hell? I mean, what is it about the Guidestones that's going to stop something from happening? Because right now the economy is going to collapse and, all these other things are going to happen. And there's nothing going to stop it. Whether you take down the Guidestones or not, it has no significant impact on the world. It isn't changing anything. It's not emboldening the people who are in charge of the takedown of the system. Or they're not in charge of the takedown. They're in charge of the takedown of your lifestyle. And that's going to happen no matter what. You can no longer live the way you're living. There's no scenario out there. There's no way for people to, I mean, I guess individually you could figure out possibly a way, but the society itself, what we're used to, is not going to be available. You won't have this stuff on Amazon. A lot of the stuff that we have, tools and, whatever crap that we get at Walmart and all these things, manufacturing and this junk that's out there, there's going to be whatever is left over from, at some point the manufacturing around the world will be pretty much non-existent. And whatever's left over, people will, have, but it won't be like, I mean, that is whatever it is. But, the Guidestones, symbolic or not, it's not like some movie where you destroy the ring. Like, it's not like it wasn't like the evil ring in the Lord of the Rings or something. Destroy this thing and, oh my God, everything's better. No, it's not like that. We destroyed the gateway. Now we're all set. No, it's like, there's no significant change because of the Guidestones. Here's the next one. And the person says, you're getting really bad at pronouncing words and speaking, dude. And then this is all in capital letters. Take an English lesson or learn how to pronounce words and names correctly with 3 question marks. It should be, that was a statement, wasn't a question, bozo. This was a video where there's a lot of, medicines, like health care stuff. And I was a little bit maybe tired or groggy. I was waking up. And so I even made a joke about struggling how to, pronounce all these things. But I ended up calling COVID, and I liked it. So that's sticking. Because this person obviously just stumbled on this channel. But for them to say, you're getting really bad at pronouncing words and speaking, dude, well, why are you still watching then? Like, if this annoys you so much. And wouldn't that mean I'm getting senile? Like, it isn't that I need to take an English class. What do you think? Like, I need to brush up on my English? Like, I mean, it could be a hearing. It could be any number of issues. But in this case, it was just that I was groggy, and I do mispronounce things on purpose. And this dude isn't aware of it. This one says, worst merchandise I've ever seen. So you're saying my merch is worse than any other merch out there. It's the worst merch you've ever seen. And you're saying this to me, why? I mean, you think like, oh my God, the guy doesn't like my merch. Like, took me forever to get it out. I liked what I've produced here. I mean, it might could have been done better. I'm sure if I hired professionals or, you know, there's things that could improve it, and I would, I mean, yeah. Some people have offered me some advice and things, and I mean, one person didn't like a font I use. It is what it is, right? Um, but I mean, it's not hurt my feelings. Like, I do my best to do quality work, and I did my best, right? People said they wanted it, and there were some people have bought T-shirts, and that's great, and it helps support the channel, and I like making the T-shirts or whatever it is, but I'm not like, oh my God, he doesn't like my why say that? And this wasn't the only person. I had about 6 or 8 comments. First it was like, why are you selling merch? You're a sellout. Now it's the worst merch ever, right? Like, it's just these trolly comments, and they come in clusters that leads me to believe it might be the same person, leaving 8 different comments. And I think you got problems. That's as bad as my merch might suck, right? And you don't have to tell me how great it is. I don't care. It's not, I'm not fishing for compliments or something. But as bad as this person says my merch sucks, they're leaving, a host of comments. And for what, right? Why would you even comment about this? I mean, you think, you're going to crack me over something like that? Like I'm going to get depressed because some bozo out there doesn't like my merch, right? I mean, you weren't going to buy any anyway. Let's be honest. No matter what kind of merch I put out, you weren't going to buy any. I mean, a person is banned, and, they're a troll, so it is what it is. But anyways, only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day, and be grateful.